welcome you all for the most awaited session on fixed income market. And today, it is my great pleasure to introduce to our speaker, Mr. Harish Menon, who is going to talk about the fixed income market, fixed income securities, and how to first understand the fixed income, because before investing you should know what is a fixed income market is. We are happy that we have a speaker like Mr. Harish Menon with us. So first of all, thank you, sir, for accepting our request for doing a session with us on this fixed income securities, which is little complicated topic as against equity shares. Our speaker, Mr. Harish Menon, is a chartered accountant with experience of more than 15 years in a financial market. He has been in a trading facilitator from April 2008. He has worked extensively in fixed income, microeconomics, currency related areas in the banking and money market space. Since 2008, Harish Menon sir is an investment advisor actively involved in wealth management. He advises clients on wealth creation and preservation using various financial instruments, including equities, fixed income, derivatives, FX, and mutual funds. Sir has facilitated training courses for various banks and financial sector companies for last 15 years in areas related to financial markets, and he's conducting the training both in India as well as abroad. So the list is long and long. Please note that this today's and tomorrow's session is more about understanding of fixed income market. So I will request you to understand the fixed income market, note down whatever sir is telling you, and ask questions related to that. How you can invest in bond through NSC, that we will cover tomorrow in last 15 minute session, which will be there will be a presentation on how you can invest in the fixed income market. So now please join me for welcoming Mr. Harish Menon sir. Harish sir, over to you.
Thank you, Sunil, for your kind words. I will switch on my camera. Good evening, all of you. Good evening, all the participants. I think we have participants from all over India, if I'm not wrong. Thank you, National Stock Exchange, for giving me this opportunity to be associated with you again. I have done few programs for NSC in the past also. Thank you, Prashanto, for reaching out, and I'm glad we can do this together. As Sunil said, my agenda for today, and we will also have a session tomorrow at 11 a.m., would be pretty simple. I would want to introduce you all to the fixed income world. It is something that is not really at a retail level as of now. Not many retail or even HNI investors are directly investing in fixed income markets. Most of them go through mutual funds, so they don't really take the efforts to understand how mutual funds are selecting these bonds, where are they investing, what are the various jargons we hear about in fixed income markets. But NSE is providing a platform now for you and me and everybody else to actually go and directly purchase bonds. So the idea of this session is to give you a sense of how this market works, what are the various jargons that you're supposed to know before you can actually take a rational decision. We will also discuss about various risk parameters in fixed income. You need to know that things can go wrong just like in equity, but of course, as we all know from basics, fixed income is not as risky as equity. So this all will be doing approximately 1 hour or so, 1 hour 15 minutes or so I will be taking today, and another similar time frame up to 1.5 hours tomorrow. Keep asking questions on the chat box, and towards the end of the program I will answer all the questions whatever you're asking. If there are any questions that we will be covering in tomorrow's topic, I will keep it for tomorrow, and I hope that tomorrow also you will join, because it's a continuing session. These are not two different sessions as such, so tomorrow continues from today. So with that background, let me get into the details. I will share a small presentation with you. I have just put down certain pointers that I would want all of you to go through. As I mentioned, and Sunil also mentioned the same, anything that you want to know about how as members of National Stock Exchange you will be able to use this product and access this product, you will have a separate small session tomorrow about that. Today and the first part tomorrow, please understand the concept so that you're all aware of how the markets is actually functioning out there. It's a pretty big market. It's a pretty big market that we are talking about. First point I would like to begin with, because most of you might be from an equity background. I think हम में से ज़्यादातर लोग equity में ज़्यादा active रहेंगे, equity cash market, equity derivatives में, because retail participation वहाँ पे काफी ज़्यादा है. But एक चीज I would want to begin with right away is that you might be surprised to know that जो cash market है, I'm not talking about derivatives, मैं futures and options की बात नहीं कर रहा हूँ, जो cash market है, जो आपका equity में हम जो T+2 market बोलते हैं, वो अगर आप कंपेयर करोगे फिक्स्ड इनकम के कैश मार्केट से, अगर आप ये दोनों कंपेयर करोगे, इक्विटी में कितना T+2 में ट्रेडिंग होता है एंड फिक्स्ड इनकम मार्केट में कितना ट्रेडिंग होता है इंडिया में, शायद आपको जानकर सरप्राइज होगा दैट फिक्स्ड इनकम मार्केट इज मच बिगर। बट हम ज्यादा सुनते नहीं है उसके बारे में, बिकॉज अगर आप CNBC TV18 देखोगे तो ज्यादातर डिस्कशन इक्विटी में ही होता है, अलग अलग टाइप के स्टॉक्स के बारे में, तो फिक्स्ड इनकम थोड़ा सा छूट जाता है। द बैकग्राउंड इज नॉट वेरी क्लियर फॉर मेनी इन्वेस्टर्स, एडवाइजर्स, ब्रोकर्स, ऑल फाइनेंशियल मार्केट पार्टिसिपेंट्स आर समटाइम्स नॉट क्लियर अबाउट इट। तो ये क्या है, व्हाई शुड यू कंसिडर फिक्स्ड इनकम? ऐसा एज एन एडवाइजर मुझे क्यों लगता है कि मेरे इन्वेस्टर्स फिक्स्ड इनकम मार्केट्स में इन्वेस्ट करने चाहिए? एज ब्रोकर्स, एज ट्रेडिंग मेंबर्स, आपके भी सारे क्लाइंट्स हैं, व्हाई शुड दे कंसिडर फिक्स्ड इनकम मार्केट्स? वो हम पहले जानेंगे। उसके लिए फर्स्ट थिंग दैट यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड इज, अनलाइक इक्विटी, हम सबको इक्विटी पता है तो मैं उसमें ज्यादा डिस्कशन नहीं करूंगा। इक्विटी में आपको स्टडी कैश फ्लोस नहीं मिलेगा। आई नो बहुत सारे स्टॉक्स डिविडेंड देते हैं, बट यू विल नॉट बी श्योर हाउ मच डिविडेंड यू आर गोइंग टू गेट एवरी ईयर। देयर इज नो गारंटी। इट इज एंड ऑफ द डे सब्जेक्ट टू प्रॉफिट्स ऑफ द कंपनी। सेम वे इफ यू आर सेइंग प्राइसेस विल गो अप, अगेन नॉट गारंटी, प्राइसेस कैन फॉल ऑल्सो। ऐसा हो सकता है कि आपने इक्विटी में इन्वेस्ट किया एंड अनफॉर्चुनेटली मार्केट उसके बाद 20-30% करेक्ट हो गया। सो स्टडी कैश फ्लोस इज नॉट देयर इन इक्विटी। बहुत सारे इन्वेस्टर्स है जिनके पास काफी बड़ा पोर्टफोलियो है एंड उनका फाइनेंशियल गोल्स अगर आप देखोगे, देयर विल बी सम रिक्वायरमेंट ऑफ स्टडी कैश फ्लो फॉर मेनी ऑफ देम। इट कुड बी रिटायर्ड पीपल, it could be people who are earning from their investment to earn their livelihood. A lot of people are using this as a passive portfolio. A lot of money used to go into real estate for this purpose in India. Real estate में लोग इन्वेस्ट करते थे, रेंट पे प्रॉपर्टी चढ़ा देते थे, दे यूज्ड टू गिव इट ऑन रेंट। ऑब्जेक्टिव क्या था? आई नीडेड समथिंग ऑन अ फिक्स्ड इनकम बेसिस, मुझे कुछ ना कुछ मंथली रेंट मिलता रहेगा। आज की तारीख में अगर आप कोई भी टॉप सिटी लोगे इंडिया का, कोई भी Tier 1 सिटी ले लो, आप मुंबई ले लो, दिल्ली ले लो, बैंगलोर ले लो, जनरली द रियल एस्टेट यील्ड दैट यू विल गेट इज अप्रोक्सीमेटली 1 to 3% per annum. I think that's the general range of real estate rental yield you are getting on an annual basis. 1%, 2%, जा जाके 3% मिला तो मिला। So property prices में से appreciation is one thing, but वो जो rental yield है वो actually उतना ज्यादा है नहीं, because of prices going up a lot. Fixed income provides you an opportunity of earning cash flow. मैं आपको बताऊंगा आगे कि गवर्नमेंट बॉन्ड्स में अगर आप इन्वेस्ट करोगे, आपको हर 6 महीने में कूपन मिलता रहेगा। यू विल कीप गेटिंग सम कैश फ्लो एंड गवर्नमेंट बॉन्ड स्पेशली अगर आप उसमें इन्वेस्ट कर रहे हो, देयर इज नो चांस ऑफ एनी डिफॉल्ट ऑल्सो। ऐसा नहीं होगा कि आपको पैसा नहीं मिलेगा। स्टडी कैश फ्लो इज वन रीजन व्हाई यू शुड कीप फिक्स्ड इनकम इन माइंड। आपको देखना पड़ेगा कि शायद हमारे पोर्टफोलियो में इसकी जरूरत है। सेकेंड, काफी लेस वोलेटाइल है एज कंपेयर टू इक्विटी, काफी, नॉट इवन कंपेरेबल। इक्विटी हमने सबने देखा है मार्च में क्या हुआ, कोविड इंपैक्ट, बहुत सारे पोर्टफोलियोज 40-50% नीचे चले गए। ऑफ कोर्स मार्केट्स हैव रिकवर्ड अ लॉट, बट जरूरी नहीं है कि सबका पोर्टफोलियो रिकवर हुआ है। सो इक्विटी में आप जब इन्वेस्ट करते हो तो ड्रॉडाउन कैन बी क्वाइट सीवियर। फिक्स्ड इनकम में ऐसा नहीं होगा। फिक्स्ड इनकम में अगर आप थोड़ा एक्सट्रीम बैड मार्केट के बारे में भी सोचोगे कि कहाँ पे कुछ खराब हो रहा है, ऐसा कभी नहीं होगा कि आपका पोर्टफोलियो में काफी नेगेटिव रिटर्न्स आएगा। इन द वर्स्ट ऑफ द टाइम्स इन फिक्स्ड इनकम, एंड मैं पिछले 17 साल से मार्केट में हूँ, 17 साल से मार्केट देख रहा हूँ, आपको ऐसा कभी नहीं होगा कि आपने पोर्टफोलियो में इन्वेस्ट किया और 10% आपका पोर्टफोलियो लॉस में चला गया बिकॉज ऑफ फिक्स्ड इनकम। ऐसा नहीं होगा। ऐसा हो सकता है कि 7% आपने सोचा मिलेगा, शायद 5% मिल गया, उसके रीजंस हो सकते हैं, लेकिन ऐसा नहीं होगा कि सडनली आपका पोर्टफोलियो 10, 20, 30% करेक्ट हो गया। सो रिस्क कम है, वोलेटिलिटी कम है, ड्रॉडाउन कम है। सो एब्सोल्युटली क्रिटिकल टू नो कि आपका पूरा पोर्टफोलियो अगर आप इक्विटी में डालोगे, आपका ब्लड प्रेशर हाई होने का काफी चांस है। ऑफ कोर्स अगर इन्वेस्टर का रिस्क एपेटाइट ज्यादा है, उनको पूरा इक्विटी में रहना है, कोई बात नहीं, बट फिक्स्ड इनकम से क्या होगा, एक पोर्टफोलियो में स्टेबिलिटी मिलता है। दैट इज व्हाई मैं इन्वेस्टमेंट एडवाइजर हूँ, सभी रजिस्टर्ड इन्वेस्टमेंट एडवाइजर हूँ मैं, मेरा एडवाइजरी का बिजनेस है। मैं अपने सारे क्लाइंट्स को बोलता हूँ एक सर्टेन प्रोपोर्शन फिक्स्ड इनकम में रखिए। चाहे आप इक्विटी में ही ज्यादा इन्वेस्ट करना चाहते हो, अगर आप फिक्स्ड इनकम में पैसा रखते हो और इक्विटी अगर गिर जाता है, इफ इक्विटी मार्केट फॉल्स अ लॉट, यू विल गेट अ गुड अपॉर्चुनिटी टू एंटर एट लोअर लेवल। सपोज आपने पूरा 100 रुपीज इक्विटी में डाल दिया आपके पोर्टफोलियो का एंड मार्केट क्रैशेस बाय 40-50%, आपके पास अभी कुछ चारा नहीं है, यू हैव टू वेट फॉर द प्राइस टू गो अप अगेन। सपोज आपने 70 इक्विटी में डाला था, 30 आपने फिक्स्ड इनकम में रखा था, 70 का हाफ हो गया, मार्केट अच्छे लेवल पे चला गया, आपको ही पता है कि मार्केट अच्छे लेवल पे है, आप ये फिक्स्ड इनकम से इक्विटी में शिफ्ट कर सकते हो। सो स्टेबिलिटी आपके पोर्टफोलियो में दे सकता है फिक्स्ड इनकम सिक्योरिटीज। एसेट एलोकेशन, एज आई सेड, अगर आप अलग अलग एसेट क्लास में इन्वेस्ट करोगे, ये प्रूवन ट्रैक रिकॉर्ड है एसेट एलोकेशन का कि एक बैलेंस्ड पोर्टफोलियो, एक इन्वेस्टर के पोर्टफोलियो में एक बैलेंस्ड अप्रोच रखोगे, दैट विल ऑलवेज इन द लॉन्ग रन give a better risk adjusted return. This is proven. This has been proven by a lot of different analysis and data that has done. If you invest only in equity 100% throughout versus you have a part of equity, part in debt, part in commodity, part in, let's say, real estate, that balanced portfolio always tends to do better over a period of time. इस डेटा को मैं सपोर्ट करता हूँ आपको एक चार्ट दिखा के। ये डेटा है मिंट न्यूज़पेपर से, ये मैंने नहीं बनाया हुआ है, सोर्सेज मिंट, हिंदुस्तान टाइम्स मिंट। आप देख सकते हो पिछले 10 साल का डेटा है, 2010 से लेके 2019, 2010 टू 2019। ऑल दीज एसेट क्लासेस अलग अलग कलर्स में आपको दिखेंगे, गोल्ड, रियल एस्टेट, क्रेडिट रिस्क फंड्स, जो क्रेडिट रिस्क पोर्टफोलियो है, इंटरनेशनल स्टॉक, स्मॉल कैप, मिड कैप स्टॉक्स, कॉर्पोरेट बॉन्ड्स जिसके बारे में मैं आज बात करूंगा, गवर्नमेंट बॉन्ड्स आपको दिखेगा, गवर्नमेंट सिक्योरिटी भी है, जीसेक जो लिखा हुआ है, गवर्नमेंट सिक्योरिटी है जो आपको दिख रहा है। अगर आप ये चार्ट को देखोगे, ऐसा कभी नहीं होता है कि एक ही एसेट क्लास हमेशा चलता रहेगा। आपने अगर सपोज सोचा गोल्ड में इन्वेस्ट करते हैं, ऐसा नहीं होगा कि गोल्ड ही हमेशा आपको बेस्ट रिटर्न्स देगा। आपने इन्वेस्ट किया लेट्स से सिर्फ लार्ज कैप स्टॉक्स में, हमेशा लार्ज कैप ऊपर रहेगा ऐसा जरूरी नहीं है। आपको ऐसे भी टाइम्स आएंगे जहां पे लार्ज कैप का आपको 25% लॉस भी देगा, -5% भी देगा। सो एसेट एलोकेशन का मतलब ये होता है कि आप पूरा पैसा एक जगह पे न डाल के आप थोड़ा सा इसको बैलेंस कर लीजिए। एंड फिक्स्ड इनकम का फायदा क्या है, जैसे मैंने पहले बताया, इफ द इक्विटी मार्केट करेक्ट्स लाइक इन मार्च, यू हैव अ गुड अपॉर्चुनिटी ऑफ सेलिंग bonds and getting into equity again. So you can see government security, it has given 15% returns in 2016, 8% returns, 12% returns in the last year. These are all calendar years. So you can see government security has given positive rate of return in a lot of these years. एंड अगर आप उसका वर्स्ट केस भी देखोगे, वर्स्ट केस गवर्नमेंट सिक्योरिटी रिटर्न्स क्या है, इट इज 2%। अब देखो 2017 जो फुल मार्केट था इक्विटी के लिए, स्मॉल कैप 60%, मिड कैप 48%, डेट के लिए इट वाज नॉट अ ग्रेट ईयर, बट फिर भी गवर्नमेंट सिक्योरिटी गेव यू 2%। उसके पहले भी आप देखोगे गवर्नमेंट सिक्योरिटी गेव यू 4%। सो दैट स्टेबिलिटी, दैट इज द रिस्क मैनेजमेंट पार्ट आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट. If you have government bonds and some other bonds like corporate bonds, if you see corporate bonds also, the lowest kind of returns you are getting is again 7%, 8%, 6%. It is not -20, it is not -40. That is something you have to keep in mind. Risk and reward आपको balance करना बहुत ज़्यादा important है, otherwise it will be a disaster in many years. Now what are these fixed income securities we are talking about? हमको पता है इनको हम बॉन्ड्स बोलते हैं, प्यार से मार्केट में वी कॉल इट बॉन्ड्स। सबसे कॉमन वर्ड फॉर फिक्स्ड इनकम सिक्योरिटीज बॉन्ड्स। ये इशू कौन करता है, हु आर द इशूअर्स ऑफ दीज बॉन्ड इज व्हाट वी हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड। शायद आप में से बहुत लोगों को ये सब पता होगा, बट मेरा एजेंडा है कि मैं बेसिक से स्टार्ट करता हूँ, फिर थोड़ा बिल्ड करके एडवांस लेवल भी डिस्कस करेंगे कल के सेशन में। आज थोड़ा बेसिक करेंगे। मार्केट खत्म हुआ है, आप लोग शायद थक गए होंगे इन द इवनिंग। इक्विटी मार्केट आज काफ़ी अच्छा था, अगर आपके पास इंडस्इंड स्टॉक था तो बहुत ही अच्छा था। सो आज थोड़ा बेसिक्स कवर करेंगे, रिफ्रेश करेंगे। कल मॉर्निंग सेशन में, सैटरडे है, वी विल डू सम कैलकुलेशंस, थोड़ा मैथमेटिक्स पार्ट भी आएगा, ज़्यादा नहीं थोड़ा। गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया, हमारा जो गवर्नमेंट है, गवर्नमेंट इश्यूज बॉन्ड्स, आपको पता होगा, मेनी ऑफ यू मस्ट हैव डन इकोनॉमिक्स। इंडिया रन्स अ फिस्कल डेफिसिट। फिस्कल डेफिसिट मतलब हमारा खर्चा एट अ कंट्री लेवल, गवर्नमेंट का खर्चा इज मोर देन गवर्नमेंट का कलेक्शन। गवर्नमेंट स्पेंड्स मच मोर देन व्हाट गवर्नमेंट अर्न्स एज टैक्स एंड अदर रेवेन्यू। ये साल स्पेशली ऑब्वियसली इट इज गोना बी बिगर एक्सपेंसेस बिकॉज कोविड के रिलीफ पैकेजेस काफी आए हैं। सो गवर्नमेंट स्पेंड्स अ लॉट, डजंट कलेक्ट दैट मच मनी। वो जो गैप है उसको बोलते हैं डेफिसिट, फिस्कल डेफिसिट। एंड गवर्नमेंट वो डेफिसिट कवर करता है पैसा बोरो करके। गवर्नमेंट बॉन्ड इशू करता है फिक्स्ड इनकम मार्केट में, बॉन्ड मार्केट में, एंड पैसा इकट्ठा करता है, पैसा कलेक्ट करता है, बिकॉज इट इज हैविंग शॉर्टेज ऑफ फंड्स. सो कौन सा गवर्नमेंट हमारे कंट्री में इशू करता है ये गवर्नमेंट बॉन्ड्स? एक है सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट. सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट कैन इशू डिफरेंट टाइप ऑफ गवर्नमेंट बॉन्ड्स. हम उसके बारे में डिटेल में जानकारी मैं आपको बताऊंगा. नाउ सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट दो प्रकार के बॉन्ड्स इशू करता है. पहले का नाम है ट्रेजरी बिल्स. टी बिल्स हम प्यार से बोलते हैं, टी बिल्स. ट्रेजरी बिल्स आर शॉर्ट टर्म गवर्नमेंट बॉन्ड्स. इसका मैक्सिमम मैच्योरिटी होता है 364 डेज. टू बी वेरी स्पेसिफिक, ट्रेजरी बिल्स आर इश्यूड बाय द सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया फॉर 3 डिफरेंट टेनॉर्स. वो 3 अलग अलग समय के लिए पैसा बोरो करता है. एक बॉन्ड होता है 91 डेज का. 91 डेज मतलब आज अगर वो पैसा बोरो करेगा आपसे, वो 91 डेज के बाद पैसा आपको वापस देगा. फिक्स्ड इनकम में याद रखिए सब कुछ बोरोइंग लेंडिंग होने वाला है. इक्विटी में आपको ओनरशिप मिलता है कंपनी का. यू बिकम एन ओनर ऑफ अ कंपनी, यू गेट वोटिंग राइट्स, यू गेट प्रॉफिट शेयरिंग. फिक्स्ड इनकम में ऐसा नहीं है. इफ यू बाय अ बॉन्ड, इफ यू बाय एनी फिक्स्ड इनकम सिक्योरिटी, यू बिकम अ लेंडर टू दैट एंटिटी. यू आर अ लेंडर. आपका का पूरा वजूद इज लाइक अ लेंडर, नॉट एज एन ओनर. तो लेंडर का क्या रिटर्न्स होने वाला है? लेंडर को क्या मिलेगा? लेंडर को ऑब्वियसली उसका पैसा वापस चाहिए इवेंचुअली, एंड उसको मिलना चाहिए इंटरेस्ट. आप कभी भी अगर पैसा लेंड करते हो, इफ यू एवर लेंड मनी टू समवन, what you're expecting is that you want your returns to be generated, and you also want your money to be lent. First part is treasury bills, as I was saying. So what you're asking here is, as a lender, what do you want from a particular borrower? Government is the borrower. What do you want? You want some returns on your money, obviously, and you want your money back. In treasury bills, you will get your money back in less than 1 year, because there are 3 different maturities of treasury bill you will get. Maturity means when will you get your money back. So आप एफडी में पैसा डालते हो, फिक्स डिपॉजिट, जो हम सबके लिए एक बहुत ही कॉमन कन्वीनियंट फॉर्म ऑफ फिक्स्ड इनकम है. आप एक बैंक के पास गए, यू आर इन्वेस्टिंग इन अ फिक्स डिपॉजिट. नाउ दैट फिक्स डिपॉजिट विल बी फॉर अ सर्टन maturity. It will be a 6-month FD, 1 year FD, 2 years FD. Same way, bonds also have maturity. When will you get the money back is called maturity. So in treasury bills, you get 3 maturities: 91 days, which is approximately 3 months; 182 days, 182 days, which is approximately 6 months; and 364 days. So 91's double is 182, 182 double is 364 days. Only 3 maturities are available in Indian treasury bill market. Who's issuing it? The central government of India. They will never default. It has never happened in the history of Indian fixed income markets that Indian government did not repay the money on maturity. It has never happened. So this is absolutely safe when it comes to default risk. There will not be any default. If you give money to a XYZ company, that company may default, but governments never default, and treasury bills are short term. If you want to invest for 3 months or 6 months or 1 year, you can get treasury bills in the fixed income markets. Central government of India also issues bonds for more than 1 year. And when I say more than 1 year, they will basically take the money today and they will say, I will return the money after 1 year. Now, the maturity will be pre-decided. They will tell you that, okay, this is a 5-year bond. So, a 5-year bond means you will get the money back after 5 years. They will issue a 10-year bond, for example. They will return the principal value after 10 years. You will get interest, no doubt. I will talk about that. But principal repayment will happen after whatever is the maturity. So, Government of India issues long-term bonds more than 1 year up to 40 years, 40 years. That's it. They don't issue it for more than 40 years. Suppose you want to invest for 50 years. No. Maximum maturity available is 40 years. In fact, if I remember correctly, just today I think they have issued a 40 years bond. I will tell you the details about it. So, central government, first issuer, short-term treasury bills, long-term government securities. Government securities are also called as gilt, G-I-L-T, gilt. So if you hear the word gilt, gilt is nothing but government securities. It's the same word we are using for government securities. The second type of government which issues bonds are state government. Maharashtra government can borrow money. Karnataka government can borrow money. Telangana government can borrow money. States also issue government bonds. So that's technically state government bonds, popularly known as state development loans, SDL. The official name is state development loan, but it is nothing but state government bonds. And remember, the central government backs the state government borrowing. So in India, if a state government is borrowing for all official purpose, we know that even if they default, even if at the end of maturity they are not able to give you the money back, don't worry, the center will be able to return the money. So in India, we consider any state government bond also as default free. Whether that state is the same political party as the center doesn't matter. So for example, Maharashtra is, let's say, not with the BJP at this point in time. It doesn't matter. If the state is borrowing money, there will be a understanding that the repayment will be done by the government in case the state is not able to repay. That is why, be it central government or be it state government, we do assume that both of them are default risk free. And again, state development loan can be for 1 year. They can issue a bond for 3 years, 5 years. Different maturities they also do the issuances for. Apart from government, we also have corporates, companies. Different type of companies also issue bonds. I'm sure many of you must have seen so many corporate bond issuances in the market. There are different types of corporate bonds you will see. In the world of corporate bonds, we will always come across a term called debenture. So that is why I've specifically mentioned debenture. Debenture is a bond which is secured by a collateral. Government bonds are never secured. Government bonds do not offer any collateral. The government of India, or for that matter, any state government, when they issue a bond, they're borrowing money, but they will never tell you that if I am not able to repay the money, railways आप लेके जाओ. Indian Railways is yours. You take two trains, Mumbai, Delhi, Rajdhani, you only drive from tomorrow. No, it cannot do that. It cannot give away any property as a collateral. But corporates, in many cases, when they borrow money, especially for long term, they will issue a collateral. And whenever there is a corporate bond which has a collateral means if they are not able to repay the money, the bond holders can sell the collateral. Collateral can be land, building, machinery. So a collateralized bond, a bond with collateral, is officially known as debenture. We never use the word government debenture. It's a very illogical concept. Government doesn't issue debentures because government does not issue collateral. You will hear the word corporate debentures a lot of time. So I'm just clarifying, don't get confused. Debenture is nothing but a bond issued by a company, let's say Reliance, for example, and they have said that there is a collateral which I am keeping legally. If I am not able to repay the money, the collateral can be sold away. That's why it's called debentures. Concept is the same. Bonds and debentures, you can use it interchangeably. Now, what are the different types of corporates we have? First is public sector companies, public sector undertaking. So, National Highway Authorities of India, Indian Railway Finance Corporation, NABARD, all these government owned companies issue a lot of bonds or debentures. They issue it. So you know that this company is owned majority by either a state government or the central government. In the Indian fixed income markets, this is very interesting. It's not a government bond, yet these bonds are favored by the investors. Because at the back of the mind, you are sure that government will not let a PSU default. So if a National Highway Authorities of India is borrowing money, it is very unlikely that they will not repay. So these are known as quasi government bonds. Quasi, QUASI. Quasi means kind of like a government bond, but I am repeating, it is not officially a government bond. So public sector companies issues lot of short-term bonds as well as long-term bonds in the market. Then we have banks. Banks can also issue bonds. There are different types of bonds that banks will issue, be it again public sector banks or be it private banks. Uh, all of them can issue bonds and fixed income securities. NBFCs, non-banking finance companies. Obviously, after the ILNFS fiasco, couple of years back, ILNFS had a major default. After that, NBFCs have not been that much in the borrowing game. Obviously, because over the last couple of years, a lot of things have changed in India. Yet the fact is, NBFCs also issues a lot of fixed income securities in the fixed income markets in India. And then we also have private companies. Your Reliances, your Larsen and Toubros of this world, the private companies also issues bonds. So broadly, government bond, default free, non-government bond, there is a chance of default. Private companies can default, and they have in the past. Some of them have defaulted in the money repayment. NBFCs can default, and they have defaulted. We kind of expect PSU companies to not default. So within the corporate bond, PSU companies come at a little extra premium, that, oh, these guys are government owned, so maybe they will not default. So that's a little bit of an extra favor that they get. How can you buy bonds? Now you know that, okay, government issues bonds, corporate issues bonds, they all need money. Unko paisa chahiye, they are borrowing. Remember, they are borrowing. You're lending, you're investing means you're lending. Suppose you're interested to lend to the government. Suppose you want to purchase a government bond. How can you go about that? You will know equity also. You know that if somebody wants to purchase an equity security, one is IPO, when that IPO happens for the company, and second is secondary market. There is primary market and there is secondary market. Same logic for fixed income securities also. Same logic. So you have a primary market where the securities are issued for the first time by the issuers. So government will issue bond for the first time. They are doing a first time issue, that is in the primary market. And then obviously all these bonds can be traded in the secondary markets. National Stock Exchange, as Sunil will explain to you tomorrow, can facilitate you to participate in both primary market as well as in secondary market. So in equity, we kind of think of National Stock Exchange as more in secondary market only, not in the IPO investment stage, not for bonds. In bonds, you can literally go through NSE for investing in primary market also, as you will see tomorrow when Sunil explains how NSE can help you. Government bonds, the bonds issued by the government of India, as well as state government bonds, both center as well as state government bonds, are auctioned. Remember this, they are auctioned. The auction happens through RBI, Reserve Bank of India. So RBI is like an investment banker. RBI is like an investment banker for the government. They do an auction. If you understand, auction is like anybody who wants to buy the bond, they have to bid for the bond. बोली लगाना पड़ेगा आपको. You have to bid for the bond, and the highest bidder gets the bond. Sort of like a book building IPO. There's a book building range you get, and then you bid, right? But in the book building, you have a range. There is a upper limit and lower limit. Here there is no limit. You decide what price you want to pay, and bidding happens. Remember something: majority of the government bonds are purchased by institutional investors. Institutional investors includes insurance companies like LIC and other insurance company, provident funds, your PPF, your employee provident funds are a big investors in government bonds. Mutual funds purchase government bonds. Commercial banks like SBI, ICICI Bank, Kotak Bank, they also purchase a lot of government bonds. So most of the auction you will see is getting purchased by the institutions only, and the auction is done through RBI, Reserve Bank of India. There's a separate mechanism for that. A retail participant cannot be in that mechanism. The auction mechanism is not for retail participants. It is happening in a very different forum. However, in all the auction of government bonds, there is 10% of the bond amount reserved for what is called as non-competitive bidding. NCB, non-competitive bidding. Competitive bidding is done by institutions where they bid and they will say, I want to buy the bond at higher price or whatever. If you're not an institutional investor, you're not a mutual fund, you're not an insurance company, you're not a pension fund, you're not a provident fund, you are a retail individual, you are a high net worth investor but not an entity, you are a corporate, you are a trust, you have an investment trust of your own, you are a partnership firm, all of you are not a part of competitive bidding. We are all a part of non competitive bidding. 10% of every auction is reserved for non competitive bidding. You can also place a bid for these bonds. I can also place a bid for these bonds. And that non competitive bidding can be done through National Stock Exchange. You can place those bids through NSE in the non competitive bidding facility. In a while, I will show you NSE's website where you will get this information. Okay, these are the open auction through which you will be able to see, okay, this is what I can buy. You'll be able to get the details. It's very transparent. So government bonds, both central government as well as state government, there will be a non-competitive bidding facility. Just to give you a practical insight, the short-term government bonds, which are called treasury bills, are issued every Wednesday. Every Wednesday, short-term treasury bills are issued, and every Friday, long-term bonds are issued. Every Friday you will see bonds for 3 years, 5 years, 8 years, 10 years, up to 40 years. That will be issued every Friday. So if you remember, today's Friday. Today, there were bond issuances done. And if you knew about it, let's say a few days back, you could have gone through the non competitive bidding facility today and purchased the bonds that were issued today. You could have done that. That is possible. So it's very easy. Sunil will explain the mechanics tomorrow. Absolutely very easy to go and actually buy these bonds from the primary market. It's like buying an IPO for shares. You know how IPO works? You probably don't know how bond auctions work. You can go and purchase in non-competitive bidding facility. Corporate bonds also have a primary market. Most of the corporate bonds are not issued in the retail domain. They're issued to institutions. Most of the corporate bonds are not issued in retail. But some of them do it, some of them for tax saving purpose or some infrastructure bonds. You will see corporate bonds also doing public issue. And of course, if they're doing public issue, it is like an IPO. You can directly buy it from the company. But most of the bonds are issued privately. They do a private placement. You would know about QIP in equity, qualified institutional placement, QIP. Same logic. They will identify certain big investors, issue the bonds to them. So you will not get them in the primary market because you are not an institution. But if there is a public issue of bonds, definitely you can participate on that also. But more importantly, every Wednesday T bills, every Friday long term government bond is available. Every week, don't worry. It will not stop. Every week you will be able to get the bonds. Suppose you did not get the opportunity of buying in the primary market. Is there one more opportunity available? Of course, yes, and that is secondary market. Just like equity, they get listed, they are traded. Bonds are also listed and traded on stock exchanges like NSE. You can, as a trading member, purchase government bonds as well as non government bonds through NSE's debt market segment. Absolutely possible. So you can do that. Institutions have something called as NDS also, negotiated dealing system. This will not be for you or me, but I'm just telling this for your information. There is something called negotiated dealing system, which is a trading system operated by RBI, Reserve Bank of India. So it's a secondary market trading platform for institutional participants. Mutual funds usually trade there, insurance companies trade there, pension funds, provident funds will trade there. But retail cannot go there, partnership firms cannot go there, companies cannot go there. So where do we go? We can obviously come into NSE. NSE has made it fairly easy now at a very low cost to be able to purchase and sell government bonds in secondary market also. There are a couple of ways of doing it, which Sunil will explain to you tomorrow, and you can ask any questions about that. How else can you go and purchase fixed income securities? I'm pretty sure you know you can go through debt mutual funds. There are so many mutual funds which has a fixed income scheme. I'm sure you know there are income funds, there are corporate bond funds, there are government security funds, there are short-term debt funds, there are long-term funds. Definitely, you can put the money in a mutual fund. The mutual fund will then put the money in various government bonds and corporate bonds as per the investment objective. Absolutely doable, no problem at all. Two things you have to remember when you invest through mutual funds. First, you cannot decide what bond they should buy. You can't say, here is my 1 lakh rupees, please purchase in this government bond. Mutual funds are not brokers. Mutual funds will not do it for a client. Mutual funds will just, sorry, I thank you for your 1 lakh rupees investment, but you cannot tell me where I should invest because I am a fund manager. I will decide where to invest. So you don't have a control over which bond you want to buy. Second, mutual funds will obviously not do all of this for free. They will charge you expense ratio. I'm sure you know that. On the fixed income mutual funds, the average expense ratio will be approximately 0.8 to 1% per annum. 0.8 to 1% per annum will have to be paid as expenses. Now, this is not equity where you can get 15, 20% also, or even 50, 60, 70% also in many, many stocks. Just today, IndusInd gave 12%, right? So, IndusInd in a day in stock can give you 12%. Fixed income in an entire year will give you something like 6, 7%. Out of that 6, 7%, if you're going to give away 1% as expense ratio, that's a significant part of your income. So, no doubt you can go through mutual funds, but do realize expense ratio will have to be paid by you. You can also invest in some of the corporate bonds, especially PSU bonds, public sector bonds, through exchange traded funds, bond ETFs. Many of you may be aware of Bharat Bond ETF. Edelweiss Mutual Fund has started with a Bharat Bond ETF. Bharat Bond ETF is a mutual fund product where you purchase the ETF, and ETFs, if you know, just like Nifty ETF and Sensex ETF, are actively tradable in the market on a daily basis. You can trade them on the NSE platform every day. So you have bond ETFs also that you can purchase. But remember, bond ETFs are not on government bonds. The bigger product is on the PSU bond segment. This is just a screenshot of the auction for treasury bill that happened 2 days back. If you know, 26th August was a Wednesday. Today is 28th, Friday. So just to give you a sense, just 2 days back, the government of India through Reserve Bank of India issued a 91-day treasury bill. You can see this. They issued a 180-day treasury bill. They issued a 364-day treasury bill for this amount. 12,000 crore rupees they borrowed. 13,000 crore rupees, 14,000, 10,000 crore rupees. So suppose you were interested in buying this 3-month safe government bond, you could have you can do that through NSE's non-competitive bidding part. So 91 day, 180 day, 364 day. So this is the T-bill auction. This information is available on RBI's website. On NSE's website also, you will be able to get whatever forthcoming issues you will see. This is state government auction, just to give you an example. This was also a recent announcement done by RBI, August 21st. All these state governments, you can see the names, is going to borrow so much amount. You can see so much amount for so many years, 20 years, 3 years, 10 years, 3 years, 5 years, so many amounts you can. So if you, again, if you want, you can purchase up to 10% of the total amount in non-competitive bidding facility. You can see the word here, NCB, NCB facility, non-competitive bidding facility. RBI has allowed National Stock Exchange to be a aggregator of all the NCBs. So if I, you, and 100 of us place various bids on NSE platform, NSE will add all those bids for a particular bond and give it to the RBI. NSE will say, through me, so many buyers want to buy all these bonds. NSE will get the bonds from RBI whenever the allotment will happen, and then NSE will pass on all those bonds to respectively your demat accounts. So this is called aggregation. So RBI has allowed National Stock Exchange to be an aggregator of non-competitive bids. Otherwise, earlier it was very difficult. As I said, 17 years in the market, most people did not go and bid in the auction because you would have to go to RBI's office, take a form, fill it up, give a check. Very cumbersome, very cumbersome. So retail and non-institutional didn't even try for it. Now it's easy. Electronically, you can do that. Your clients can do it through you as a trading member, and NSE has been allowed by RBI to be a aggregator. Everything, state governments, treasury bills, and central government bonds. So I will show you the next one. This is the government of India bonds, not state, center. And this auction is something that basically happened today. Auction date, you can see August 28, which is today. So today they issued these four bonds. These are the four bonds they issued. I will explain the details in a while. This GS means government security. You can see the date of repayment. This is called maturity date. If you buy this bond, when will you get the money back? You will get the money back on these dates. They have told you how much amount they are going to issue them for. So 3,000 crore. Now remember, just an example of this first bond, which is this particular bond, 10% of 3,000 crore, which is 300 crore, is available in the non-competitive bidding facility. Total 300 crore. 18,000 crore, 10% is 1,800 crore is available in the non-competitive bidding facility. Right? Now you can also see Government of India, FRB. FRB is floating rate bond. I'll explain that to you in a while. Floating rate bond. And new government security was issued today. If you remember, I told you government has issued today a 40-year bond. Actually, a little more than 40 years. So August 28th, which is today, they are issuing a bond. They're borrowing 5,000 crore rupees for 40 plus years. Understand? Investors are investing for 40 years. Now, suppose some of you want to invest for 40 years. You can do that now through the non-competitive bidding facility. This is a glimpse just for your understanding of negotiated dealing system, NDS. I took a screenshot of today's live market. Today, during the day, I took a screenshot. I must tell you something that you cannot participate in this market as a retail individual or as a partnership firm or as a trust. We can't. This is for institutions. So you can see a lot of these government bonds are traded. You can see a lot of prices also getting fluctuating. So we will discuss about this in going forward. Why do bond prices fluctuate? We will discuss. But do remember, bond prices also fluctuate. They will not fluctuate as much as equity, but bond prices will also fluctuate, as you can see. And as I took a screenshot earlier today when the market was just about 2 hours into the trading, 9 o'clock it opens, by the way, 9 o'clock the market opens, and you can see 16,000 odd crores were traded in the first 2 hours itself. So, as I said, it's a pretty big market, it's a pretty large volume that you will see. You can also get the trading data on NSE's website, also, which I will show you in a while. These are all the ways in which the bonds are issued. I'm just telling you data you can get from RBI's website or from NSE's website. Let me just take a pause at this point and share a different screen. I would just like to show you. Just give me 1 second. I would like to take you to NSE's website at this point in time. Allow me about half an hour more. I'll be done in that much time, and then I'll be happy to take any questions that you have for me. I'll take you through NSE's website. I'm pretty sure you have seen the website multiple times, but maybe more for equity. From next time when you're seeing the website, also start seeing it for government bonds and other bonds also. Let me share the screen. So this is nsteindia.com. I hope the website is visible. So you can go to market data. So if you want to know about any upcoming issues or something, then you can go to market data, go to new public issues, market data, new public issues. You will see a lot of things. You will see IPO of equity here. You will see mutual fund, new fund offers here, etc. You will see a very interesting thing called NCB GSEC. This is non-competitive bidding government security. NCB GSEC. As you can see today, the same four bonds, if you remember, I showed you in the RBI screenshot also. The same four bonds you could have bid through NSE, but obviously till yesterday. You cannot bid now because obviously the allotment is gone. The auction is done. The auction happens on a Friday by 12 o'clock. So you will have to place the bid in the NCB window yesterday so that NSE can aggregate all the bids received from many people, and then they will be able to give it to RBI today. So NSE has to submit the bid at an aggregate level to RBI today. So that is why yesterday you had to bid, as you can see. Now, if you see upcoming issues, suppose you want to see any upcoming issues for government bond, you will not be able to see now because the actual details of the Friday auction, I told you, right? Friday is when the government bonds are issued. The actual details of it is released on Monday. So next Monday, if you come back to the same website, you will see the next Friday auction details here. You will see that next Friday there were let's say three bonds being issued. Let's assume. Then you will see an option of bidding. So you will see bidding start date, end date, and so on and so forth. So you will see one for next Friday also. Every Friday you will see the bond getting issued by RBI on behalf of the central government. No exception. I've been seeing it for the last, as I said, 17 years now. There has not been a week more. Most of the time, every week you will see an auction. Now, what are the important concepts that you should know about fixed income? What are the various concepts that you should be knowing? So, equity, I think all of us are very comfortable. We have spent a lot of time. Fixed income, again, many of us could be very comfortable. What are the various terms and jargons that we have to understand about fixed income? First, the concept of face value. Face value. Face value for most bond is also your redemption value. For most bonds, face value is also your redemption value. It may not be your purchase price. I'll repeat, it may not be your purchase price. I will tell you why later on. Why will the purchase price not be equal to face value? I will tell you later on. But it will be, in most cases, your redemption value. So for government bond, the face value in India is 100 rupees. Per bond, government bond is 100. Corporate bond depends. It can be 100. Some keep it as 1,000. Some may keep it as 5,000. I have seen 10,000 also for corporate bonds. But government bond is always 100 rupees. If you purchase treasury bill also, if you purchase long-term government bond also, on maturity you will get back 100 rupees per bond. Face value is also called nominal value or par value. So if some trader or anybody in news or a news channel or somebody who's talking to you says that I expect the bond to go to par, it basically means that he's saying the bond price will go towards face value. Because I will tell you in a later discussion, which is a little tricky to understand sometimes, that bond prices also fluctuate. We have to learn that. But first of all, understand every bond will have a face value. Coupon rate. You will see bonds, especially long-term bonds, having coupon rate. Coupon rate is a layman's in layman language. Coupon is nothing but interest rate. We don't use the word interest rate in bonds because when a fixed income guy thinks about interest rate, there are too many interest rates you can think of. Ask a bond fund manager, what do you think about interest rates? He will give you a generic answer. But if you say, no, give me a number, then he will say, which interest rate are you talking about? Are you talking about RBI's repo rate? Are you talking about the FD rate? The interest rates mean a lot of things. In a bond, the percentage returns you are going to get is known as coupon rate. And this coupon rate, in most cases, will be pre-decided and fixed. So, for example, if you noted, if you observed, if you want, I can take you back also. If you observe here, this 5.09%, 5.77% that you see, this is called coupon rate. So what this means is if you buy this first bond, you will get 5.09% per annum, and this percentage is of face value. This is not a percentage of your purchase price. Extremely important point, please note this. The percentage that you see on the bond's name, 5.09, 5.77, this is not a percentage of your purchase price. I'll repeat, purchase price may not be face value. Face value is 100 for a government bond. Purchase price may not be 100. I will tell you why. It may happen that you may buy it at 101 also. Some may buy it at 99 also. Whether you buy it at 100 or 101 or 99, you will get 5.09% of face value, which is fixed. Face value is 100, fixed. 5.09% coupon is also fixed, meaning you are going to get 5.09 rupees per bond every year. Whether your purchase price is X, Y, or Z, doesn't matter. You will get 5.09 rupees per bond per annum. Government, however, pays the coupon half yearly. Government does not give the coupon once a year. Government will give half of 5.09, half of 5.77, two times a year. Semi annually, every 6 months, you will get half of your annual coupon. That is how coupon is calculated. So remember, it is not a percentage of your purchase price or the market price. It is percentage of face value, which for a government bond is 100. Corporate bond may not be 100. It can be 1,000, 5,000, 10,000 also. Government bonds pay half yearly coupon. Corporate bonds may not be half yearly. They sometimes may pay you quarterly coupon. They may pay you coupon once a year also. You will see different types of coupon. You have to be very clear before you buy what are you going to get from this particular bond. You should be knowing that. As I mentioned earlier, bonds will have a maturity date. When are you going to get the principal value back? Majority of the time, face value is the principal value. If you hold a government bond till maturity, and suppose you have only one bond, you will get back 100 rupees. Doesn't matter which year it is, you will still get back 100 rupees. So that's how essentially maturity date is going to be important for you. This is a very important concept I will come back to. Very important. This is the most important concept you need to understand. Yield to maturity. I will come to this important concept in a while. Yield to maturity. In a very short introduction to ITM, what I can tell you is yield to maturity is your, when I say your, an investor's expected rate of return on investment. I'll repeat, YTM is the expected rate of return for an investor when he or she or they are buying a bond. So let's assume there is a bond which I want to buy. What is the expected rate of return that I want when I invest in that bond? Now, biggest confusion that happens in fixed income is, but isn't the coupon fixed? I'll go back. Government is saying this bond has a coupon of 5.77. Perfect. Coupon is decided first time when the bond is issued. Coupon is not going to change every time. Coupon was decided the first time when this bond was issued. When was this bond issued? That information is not available on this detail. If you want, there is information available for that also. When was all the bond issued? But doesn't matter. It doesn't matter now when was the bond issued. What is important to know is the coupon rate was decided when the bond was issued. The coupon rate does not change once decided. So 5.77% is decided on the date of issue. Now that may be relevant for that period. Maybe it was issued 2 years back. Maybe it was issued 1 year back. Today, when somebody buys this bond in the secondary market, understand, today when you buy this bond, I may not be happy with 5.77. I may expect more, I may expect less because Market conditions have changed. This bond was, let's say, issued 1 year back. That time, market conditions were different. RBI repo rate was different. Inflation was different. Times have changed. I will expect a different rate of return today. So, your expected rate of return on any fixed income security is known as yield to maturity, YTM. Very, I mean, a lot of times you tend to overcomplicate it. Don't do that. It is nothing but the expected rate of return that you are expecting on any bond you are buying. Now, understand something very simple, very important concept. I will link it to equity. Today, let's assume Reliance was, let's say, trading at 2150, 2150 Reliance equity price today. Okay. Now it's available on your screen. You can see the last traded price is 2150. There are many people who look at that price and say, I want to buy. Correct? They're expecting Reliance price to go up, they're buying. At the same time, there are a lot of other people also who are saying, I want to sell. Now, you can't say one is right, the other is wrong. Only time will tell you whether one is right, other is wrong. Like different investors have different perception about what a stock price should be. Different fixed income investors have a different YTM expectation also. Understand? 10 investors look at the same bond, same issuer, same maturity. Everybody is going to get the same coupon also, but their expected rate of return may not be same. Because one may be expecting that if I buy this bond, I will be making a lot of money. Maybe the bond price will go up. Other may be thinking, no, I don't want to really buy this bond. I'm not interested. So I will only buy it if I'm getting a very good rate of return. The two different investors may have two different yield to maturity. And I will tell you in a later discussion, yield to maturity is the reason why bond prices fluctuate. Very important concept. What is the short introduction? Just an introduction. It will come back in detail later in tomorrow's session. Expected rate of return when you buy a bond is called as yield to maturity. It is not the same logic as coupon. Coupon was decided earlier, not today. I may not be happy with the same rate of coupon today. What is the expected rate of return? Yield to maturity. If you are purchasing a corporate bond, not a government bond, because government bonds will never default is a basic assumption. And to be very fair, government of India has never defaulted, so no reason for us to believe that government will start to default. But if it is not a government bond, if it is a Reliance bond, if it is a private sector bond, if it's a banking bond, there is a chance of default. And that chance of default, there is a credit rating that you will get from that bond, which I will tell you in a little while from now. But you will know that there is a credit rating available on a lot of non government bonds. So it's very important to see that also. What is the credit rating of the bond? Now, what are the types of bonds you will see in the market? Now, fortunately for you, if you're suppose bored, you're like, अरे यार, this is not for me, मजा नहीं आ रहा है, सब बकवास है. हमको ऐसा कुछ चाहिए जो एक महीने में डबल करेगा पैसा. Suppose you're like, bonds are not interesting, then you're lucky because in India we have very limited type of bonds. If you go to US, there are various type of bonds you will see in a developed market. In India, it's very simple. You don't get too many choices about bonds. What are the common type of bonds you will see? First, we call it plain vanilla bonds. I mean that's the jargon. It's not like it will be mentioned as plain vanilla bonds. Simple bond. What is a simple bond? A government bond is a simple bond. Most corporate bonds are simple bonds. Now, what are simple bonds? It will have a fixed coupon that is decided on the first day. So when you go and you'll see the bond, you will know, okay, this is the coupon. Second, it has a fixed maturity. So all the cash flows you are going to get from the bond is pre-decided. Every rupee you are going to get from the bond, when will you get it? What rate of coupon will you get? Is it half yearly coupon? Is it annual coupon? When is the maturity going to happen? All of this will be upfront known to you. That is called as a simple plain vanilla bond. Most bonds in India are that way only. Simple. Everything is very well known to you before you even invest. We also have zero coupon bonds, especially short term bonds are zero coupon. Treasury bills, for example, are zero coupon. T bills, I told you, Government of India Treasury bill securities are zero coupon. There is no particular coupon they will give you. They are saying it's a bond for 3 months or 6 months. Coupon is like a periodic interest I am going to pay you. Now the bond itself is 6 months. How will I give you periodic interest in between that? Will I give you monthly now? So why not I give you your interest effectively on maturity? So you give me X rupees today, I will give you X plus something back. Simple, straightforward. So I will not mention any particular coupon rate. It will be implied that the price you pay to me today compared with the price you will get back, the difference becomes your returns. So I'm not going to specify any percentage coupon. Let me give you an example. Allow me to go back now because I have a screenshot which I showed you. Look at this. There was a coupon which is mentioned in these bonds because these are long term bonds, not less than 1 year. These are long term bonds. There is a coupon. Let me show you treasury bill example. See treasury bill example. No coupon, no percentage you will see as a coupon. You will not see any percentage as coupon. So what is the government saying? I am issuing a 91-day treasury bill today. I am borrowing money today. This is what government is saying. I'll repay the money to you after 91 days. You have to trust me, I will repay the money. How much will I repay? 100 rupees per bond. Understand? I am going to repay 100 rupees to you. You give me less than 100 today. Simple. You give me less than 100 today. So if you see, when this bond was issued this Wednesday, investors cut off. If you remember, IPO also has a cutoff price. Here also the cutoff came at 99.1995. So let's think of it. Investors are paying 99.1995 and they will get back 100 after 91 days. If you understand, the difference between 100 and the price you pay will become your income. That is effectively your interest income. If you convert this into a percentage, 100 minus 99.1995, I am going to get 0.8015. That difference, right? On a percentage basis, it is 3.2367 per annum. This is called YTM. Percentage ROI on my investment. Return on investment is called YTM. Coupon is a percentage of face value. And I'm telling you again, you may not always buy it at face value. If you buy it at 99.1995, or in this case, 98.2901, or in this case, 96.5444, you are going to get back 100 only. Then why different prices? Because the maturity is different. Here you will get it back after 1 year. So you pay 96.5444 today, you get back 100, your effective return on investment is 3.5891% without any risk. No default, I repeat. No default. There is no way that government is going to default the money. No way. Suppose you are an investor who has money for 1 year. You go to a bank, check the bank FD rate. Suppose the bank FD's rate is 2.75%. Suppose I'm just taking an example, or 3%. You come to the treasury bill market, you're like, wow, there's a treasury bill of government which can give me 3 point almost 6%. Absolutely fine. You can buy it. Just invest today, wait for 1 year. Absolutely no default, you will get the money back. If you would have invested in a PMC bank, or if you would have invested in a Yes Bank, even your FD was sometimes in threat. Governments, of course, they will not default. 6 months, imagine 6 months rate is approximately 3.5. Are you getting 6 month FD at more than 3.5? If yes, okay, you have one more option. If no, go for this. Also remember, this is liquid, this is secondary market. You can sell this tomorrow also if you want. You will be able to get the money back tomorrow also. FDs may have a lock-in. So again, a lot of advantages of government bonds you will get. So as I was saying, zero coupon bonds don't pay coupon doesn't mean you will not earn anything. It's not like you're doing charity. Just that you pay a lower price, you get higher price. The difference becomes your effective rate of return. Then we have floating rate bonds. Coincidentally, what a luck factor. Just today, government issued a floating rate bond. Now, what is a floating rate bond? Coupon is not pre-decided. Coupon is not fixed. Coupon will change over a period of time, linked to something. For example, it can be linked to inflation. It can be linked to some other bonds interest. The coupon will not be same. Coupon will change. What you have to remember is, if interest rate goes up over the next 2-3 years, highly likely, I personally, and this is my personal view, this is not NSE view or anything. I personally believe that India interest rates have more or less bottomed out. Very, very difficult to see further rate cuts now because inflation will be a problem. So in the next 2-3 years, if interest rate goes up, your floating rate bond will give you higher coupon. So as interest rate goes up, your coupon income will also be higher. You can be just sitting back and say, wow, more interest rate, more coupon. It's like your floating rate loan that banks give you, home loan, etc. Same way, if interest rate goes down, floating rate coupon will also go down. So government is now trying to get more money through floating rate bonds. Why? Because when interest rates are close to the bottom, and when you see the next few years and you think that, oh, it will kind of give me higher rate of return going forward, a lot of buyers will be interested. That's why floating rate bonds are very attractive at this point in time. I hope all of you know there was a savings bond also which is issued by RBI, floating rate savings bond. I think 7.15% government is paying floating. It can go up also in the future years for a 7-year lock-in bond issued by RBI. You can buy that also. That's also a floating rate bond. Perpetual bonds, PERPs, as we call them in the market. PERPs. Jargons का बहुत ज़्यादा usage होता है market में. PERPs. A lot of times clients will talk about this. Can you give me a PERP? So if you're not aware of the jargon, it can sound a little weird. Perpetual bond, a bond that does not have maturity. No maturity. Absolutely irredeemable. You will not get the money back as such. No maturity. HDFC issued a perpetual bond. A couple of banks like ICICI, SBI, they've all issued perpetual bonds. So perpetual bonds means maturity will not be there. If you are wondering why will somebody invest if maturity is not there, remember the coupon could be slightly higher. They may pay you a slightly higher coupon, so you will get extra interest income. Also, don't forget, secondary market is always there. There's always secondary market, right? It's not like there's no secondary market. So you can always try to sell it in the secondary market. So investors are not very bothered about, oh, but there is no redemption. It's okay. You can sell in the secondary market. Coupon is also slightly higher. So obviously it is a better bond in that case. I repeat, this can be government bond also. Floating rate bond can be issued by government. FRB can be issued by corporate. Zero coupon bond can be issued by government. Zero coupon bond can be issued by corporate. So what I'm saying is these type of bonds are pretty much in both the segments. Indian government has not issued perpetual bond, but nothing stops it from doing so. Corporates have issued perpetual bonds, especially banks. They have issued perpetual bonds. Now, this type of bond is only corporates. Government cannot issue convertible bonds. Corporates can issue convertible bonds. They do issue it once in a while. Where if you purchase a convertible bond, on maturity, the bondholder can decide to get these bonds converted into equity shares of the company. So suppose XYZ Limited issued a convertible bond, 5 years maturity. After 5 years, the bondholder will say, you know what? Bond ka paisa mat do. I don't want the bond's money. Give me equity shares instead of that. So these are also issued by corporates, convertible bonds. Remember, all of these will have a primary market also and a secondary market also. Don't forget that just like equity, there is primary market and secondary market in the world of fixed income securities also. Now, okay, we know there are different type of bonds. We know we can buy it from NSE also now. What will we get? How do we earn returns on these bonds? I think it's very self-explanatory, but I'll just still re-emphasize. First is coupon. Now, even if it is zero coupon, don't worry. You will still get some return on your investment. So if you buy a government bond or a corporate bond with coupon, you will get cash flow. Government will give you half yearly cash flow. Corporates may give you quarterly or half yearly or annually. It depends upon which company we are talking about. And do remember, all these are taxable. Even government bond coupon is taxable. Please don't think that there is any relief or lack of tax. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. Government bond is also taxable. So you will get coupon income. You saw 5% and all that as an example. Second is capital gain or losses. Now, this is very interesting. Very, very interesting. If you understand bond market very well, and if you're new, then it will take time, obviously. It's like anybody who's new to equity also. I don't think you will hire for your broking business or for your investment business just a fresher and say, here is 50 crores, manage the equity portfolio. Everything new will be complicated. But if you understand the bond markets, if you understand how RBI is thinking, if you know rate cycles, if you know interest rates will go up or go down, you can read inflation, you can look at economic factors, because fixed income has a lot to do with economics. If you can do all this, you can also try and earn capital gains on the bond. And fund managers can do that, bond traders can do that. We can also do that. We just need to know how to analyze the bonds. So you can buy a bond at, let's say, 100 in the primary market. Let's say you got the bond at 100. It is very, very, very much possible that the same 100 becomes 104 rupees in 1 year. Absolutely possible. Don't think it is not possible. You bought at 100, you waited for 1 year, you got the coupon. Let's say the coupon was 7%. Let's assume. You bought the bond at 100. First year coupon, you got 7% of 100, which is 7 rupees. After 1 year, the bond is trading at 104, you sold it. 7 coupon, 4 capital gain, 11% in that year. That's why if you know a lot of bond traders and bond fund managers, in the last 2-3 years have given 14-15% rate of return. Why? Because bond prices can go up. What are the factors that will affect bond prices? I will tell you. But do remember one basic philosophy. If interest rates fall, bond prices go up. Inverse relationship. Interest rates can be repo rate or whatever government bond rates you're seeing. If it goes down over a period of time, the bond prices will go up. I will explain this in more technicality in tomorrow's session, because I want you to be in fresher mind to understand some calculation. Little bit calculation will be there in fixed income. That's why in my entire career, when I ask anybody about fixed income, they are not comfortable. Why? Because there is a little bit of calculations. But come on, अगर धंधा करना है तो फिर we need to know numbers also, right? We need to know how will the calculation work. A little bit of calculation we will do tomorrow. As of now, understand, last 1 year, especially the last 6 months, interest rates have gone down in India. I'm sure you know RBI has cut the repo rate. FD's rates have gone down. Because of COVID, everything has gone down in terms of interest rate. Bond prices have picked up. So as interest rate goes down, bond prices go up, and you can make double-digit returns also from fixed income. That is not unheard of. We have seen it in as recent as last few years. But one side is gain, other side is loss. It is also possible that you buy a bond at 100. 1 year has gone by. You got 7% coupon. Coupon is given by the government or the corporate. Assuming no default, you will get the coupon. But it is possible that the 100 rupees have become 97 in the secondary market. Possible. And if you sell, suppose you sell 100 rupee bond you purchased, 97 you sold, 3 rupees capital loss, 7 is your coupon, net returns is only 4%. So if there is capital gain, obviously there can be capital loss also. As a concept product hai is dunia mein, there only capital gain only will be there. Capital loss cannot be there. It is not possible, right? Maybe exception is Ruchi Soya stock this year, maybe. But coupon, no loss. There is no loss in coupon. Coupon is income. Capital gain or capital loss can happen because bond prices fluctuate. Equity prices fluctuate, bond prices also fluctuate due to multiple reasons. And the technical reason is interest rates. And when I say interest rates for bond, I mean YTM, yield to maturity. ये जो relationship है, जो calculation part है, I will do it in Excel and show you properly in tomorrow's session. Today is just building blocks and understanding the concept. Tomorrow is Saturday morning session, fresh minds. I hope all of you will come back tomorrow. We will do some beautiful calculations also in Excel. So interest rate goes down, bond prices go up, and vice versa. Why do bond interest rates change or prices change? Multiple factors. One is inflation. Most important is inflation. Why most important is inflation? RBI. So RBI looks at inflation very carefully. If inflation threatens to go up, you must have learned basic economics. If inflation starts to go up, interest rates will have to go up. So RBI may increase repo rate. You know repo rate. Currently repo rate is at 3%. It may go up. If inflation falls over a period of time, interest rates can go down. So inflation is a very important factor. Inflation goes up, interest rate goes up, bond prices fall. The new bonds that will get issued will also be at a higher interest rate, obviously. But the existing bonds that you already have, you might see a capital loss in that. As I said, inflation will result into interest rate changes also. Liquidity, very important. Market liquidity or system liquidity, as we call it. Do banks have enough liquidity? Do mutual funds have enough liquidity to go out there and buy bonds? Suppose mutual funds are facing redemption pressure. March, April, example, redemption pressure. Everybody is withdrawing from mutual fund. I'm talking about fixed income, not equity. Fixed income mutual funds, people are withdrawing. So what are mutual funds doing? They need to obviously sell their bonds. They will all come into the market and sell the bonds. But suppose everybody is investing in mutual funds, everybody is investing in insurance companies through premium, and commercial banks also have a lot of liquidity. They all will go and purchase bonds. So demand and supply will obviously be triggered by liquidity. So higher liquidity will trigger more buying. Look at equity. Why is equity market up by so much in the last 2 3 months? Liquidity. Has corporate earnings gone up? No. In fact, it's in shambles. Is GDP going up? Obviously not. GDP is going to be a disaster now. Yet, there is so much of liquidity available coming from foreign portfolio investors. A lot of retail investors have entered the equity market. If you're all trading members, I think last 3 4 months was Jalsa for you, absolute Diwali. So many new investors have come in the market. So much so that regulators are saying that this is like a Chakravyu now. A lot of them are coming like Abhimanyu. Just recently, regulator said that Abhimanyu's aa to rahe hai, how will they exit? So everybody is now worried about the Robin Hood investors in equity. Same works with fixed income. Obviously, retail does not have a lot of participation in fixed income because awareness is not there. For a retail person, fixed income usually means FD, fixed deposit. That's it. Thoda over a period of time through campaigns and advisors, they're going through mutual funds also. This is next step. You can directly buy and sell bonds also. Demand and supply will also result in prices fluctuations. Is fixed income totally safe? No. None of the fixed income security is totally safe. It is not. There are various risks you have to consider. Is the risk the same as equity? Definitely not. Equity is much riskier. There you can have a 40% loss, 50% loss. Here the probability of that happening will be very less. What are the risk factors to consider? So I told you what are the bonds available. I told you about primary market, secondary market. I told you about how you can go and buy. I told you about various bond terminology. I told you about various types of bonds to buy. Suppose all of you are hopefully convinced that we should invest in bonds. You went and bought bonds. Now remember, there are two types of investors or two types of people who will enter into the bond market. One are long-term investors. The other are traders. So I've split the risk into two factors. One is you are buying the bond for trading purposes, just like equity. Intraday traders are there, positional traders are there. They are not concerned about shareholding, voting rights. No, they're only concerned about 10% profit चाहिए एक महीने में. That kind of expectations they may have. Bonds also we have traders. Again, retail do not know much about it, so they're not doing it. But you can do a lot of bond trading also. What are the risks if you do bond trading? Obviously, first is default risk. You bought a bond, that company goes bankrupt. That company has default. They were supposed to pay interest, they don't pay it. Future retail, for example, I'm sure you're reading in the newspaper. Future retail is in a mess. They have borrowed so much, they're not able to pay. So recently, this week, a big news article came. Future retail could pay interest. Wow, wonderful. At least they could pay interest for the time being. Reliance Communication, defaulted. They were not able to pay the money back on their bonds. You must have seen that uh, earlier this year and last year. Island FS defaulted. I'm sure you know that. Jet Airways defaulted. So credit risk or default risk is a very severe risk. You can take the help of credit rating, but with all due respect, I will tell you, not all credit ratings are absolutely perfect. With all due respect to rating agencies, it never means that AAA means default होगा ही नहीं ऐसा नहीं है. Island FS was AAA when it defaulted. But if you're starting, if you don't know how much to analyze, starting point can be credit ratings. You can see you get ratings from CRISIL, ICRA, CARE. You have different rating agencies. AAA is the best rating you can get. AAA, AAA, then AA, single A. These are the rating scales. Best and worst. D is default. D for Dabba, default. AAA, AA, single A, and so on and so forth. There are so many rating scales available. In AA, single A, triple B, all these category, you will see a plus minus also many times. AA plus is one level below AAA. So a lot of time rating agency gives a plus and minus within a category for some differentiation between the issuers. They may say this company is AA, but this company is AA plus, not AAA, but better than AA. So they may give you a AA plus or a AA minus kind of a rating. Very careful. Government bonds don't have default. Please understand that. Treasury bills, state government bonds, corporate bonds, and if I may put my neck out there, PSU bonds. NHAI, IRFC, NABARD, EXIM, very, very, very unlikely that they will default. So all of them have zero default risk. But private sector companies, not so big NBFCs, there can be a default that can happen. Be very careful about that. Price risk, I just told you, prices fluctuate. So if you're trading, then obviously prices can go against you. You may not always be a champion to make money every time. So price risk is there. The exact calculations, etc., we will do tomorrow. Liquidity risk, super important. Very, very critical. I would like to highlight this risk as the biggest risk in Indian fixed income market. The biggest risk if you're a trader. So if you are entering this market and saying, let's do some short-term trading like we do in equity, liquidity risk is a very big factor because unfortunately, even today, the bonds are not very liquid. Hence, NSE obviously wants the market to be more vibrant. Hence, this program, hence, an awareness will be created. Hopefully, liquidity will be created because as of now, the bonds are not very liquid. So, you have to be very, 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 very cautious about liquidity risk. Varna, a short-term trade will become a long-term investment. जैसे equity में कैसा होता है? Equity में the reason is not liquidity. You buy a stock on a tip, price goes down by 30%. You say मेरा long-term portfolio में जाएगा. I will not sell at 30% loss. इधर ऐसा नहीं है. इधर price may not fall by a lot. Selling might be difficult because liquidity is a big concern if you are trading. If you're a long-term investor, you want to hold the bond till maturity. You're like, I don't care about secondary market. I will buy a bond 7 years maturity, let's assume, or 5 years, I will hold it. Then liquidity is not a concern for you. Price risk is not a concern for you. You will still have to worry about default risk, obviously. Obviously, right? Because you have to be more careful now because the principal is the biggest amount you're supposed to get back. There can be a default that can happen. And also, something I will explain it to you when we do the calculation part, reinvestment risk. Reinvestment risk, very critical if you are a sophisticated investor, not that critical if you are a retail investor kind of a profile or a small investor or an investor who's not really investing to match some cash flows. Think of insurance company, think of LIC. They have liabilities to meet with their bonds, so they have to be very, very careful about reinvestment risk. Otherwise, if you're just investing for returns, this may not be the most important thing to worry about. But yes, there are risks in the market. It is not like everything is hunky dory and things just go one way. No, there will be risk, obviously, and higher the risk you take, possibly higher the reward you will get. If you buy a private corporate bond versus a government bond, obviously your returns can be higher, but with the probability of default. You must be aware of how Franklin Templeton Mutual Fund and a couple of other mutual funds also faced trouble in the month of March and April when a lot of the money they were not able to get back. So that can happen. Companies like Vodafone has defaulted. Companies like as I said earlier, Reliance Communication has defaulted. So risk is there definitely. So that is what I want to highlight in front of you. That is where I stop my current session. We are only halfway through. I hope you will be there for tomorrow also. And I will be happy to take any questions. I cannot see any questions in front of me. I don't know where to see, but maybe Sunil will.
Yeah. Thanks, Harish. Now, what I will do, I think since today's session is more about theory, there is not lots of questions which we have received. So, one question is actually a question from this side. What will be the best book or a study material which will be available to learn about fixed income securities, or whether there is any course on fixed income securities?
So I can recommend two things on this, Sunil. One is on NSE's website itself. There is a primer on government securities available. Primer on fixed income markets that has been put up on NSE's
Okay.
website itself is available. That's a wonderful primer which has been made by RBI. It's available on RBI's website also. It's a PDF. Very, very good starting reading material to begin with. Second reading material that second source of reading material I can suggest, with all due respect to all members, I'm naming one particular trading member called Zerodha. I'm assuming all of you heard of Zerodha. Zerodha has something called Varsity, Varsity, Varsity. Zerodha Varsity is also a good source, and NSE website has a primer on fixed income market. So these are the two things I would recommend to a beginner.
Few guys actually ask for your mobile number and email ID, so that you have already provided in your presentation. So that is true. Another question is, now this is again a tricky question: which is profitable, bonds or mutual fund?
If you are good in selecting bonds yourself, then you can obviously try it yourself. I would add one important aspect, which is liquidity. So if you're a trader and if you're thinking of trying to make some trading income, then I think as of now liquidity is not that great. Hopefully in months to come liquidity will improve. As an investor, there are a lot of opportunities in direct investing also, which can give you better returns than mutual fund. Simply because mutual funds will take away 1.2% as their fees, which you can save. So for investing opportunity, you can directly enter the market. Trading, no, I don't think liquidity is conducive as of now.
Okay, there is a question that how does one arrive at his or her own YTM? So I
So
think
I'll
that
talk
you will.
more about this tomorrow, but
Okay.
it is not a calculation, it is more a expectation. It's like asking what rate of return will you expect if you invest in equity. Suppose you are an investor in equity. What rate do you want from equity market? What is your expectation? Same is the question with bonds, and that is called YTM. It's not really a calculation you do in any way. It's more the expected rate of return, but the numerical part I will be covering tomorrow.
Okay, and then in you are talking about this non-competitive bidding. The 10% reservation is on the notified amount. So if the notified amount is 10,000 crore, then some percentage of that will be reserved for non-competitive bidding.
So
Correct?
10% of 10,000 crore, so 1,000 crore for that example. So whatever is the amount in the RBI circular, 10% of that is available for non-competitive bidding.
Next question is whether liquidity risk is higher for long maturity bonds.
Overall, liquidity is a issue. It's not just long term or short term. Liquidity is not that great as of now. NDS is fairly liquid, but NDS is not for retail participants. For retail, if you're looking to actively trade, liquidity as of now is not good across products. The most active bond, the most liquid bond will be the 10-year government security. We call it the 10-year benchmark. So there will always be a 10-year bond. You will see the maturity will be in 2030. That will be the most common bond to trade. If you pick a 3-year bond to trade or a 7-year bond to trade or a 14-year bond to trade, from a trading point of view, liquidity will be a big problem. Be very careful in that regard.
Next question is it corporate bond refers to large private corporate as well?
Yeah, so as I said, corporate bonds include four parts. One is public sector companies, second is banks, third is non-banking financial company, and fourth is all private companies you can think of, including Reliance, Adani, Z, Reliance Communication, any company, big, small, everybody is a part of corporate bonds.
The next question is there are few callable bonds also which are a bit risky. Where do I get the issue document of corporate bond containing details of terms and conditions?
All the bonds offer documents and the prospectus, as we call it, indenture, is available on NSE's website and SEBI's website both, and issuer's website. So company's website, SEBI's website, and National Stock Exchange website. You will be able to see the entire issue document, which is usually hundreds of pages, where you will see what date can it be matured in and what is the coupon and every other factor you want to see.
I think also a depository has some site now on which you can see the information.
Yes, NSDL and CDSL both have put bond details now on their website. After the IL&FS crisis, they're also transparent.
There are some specific questions related to investment advising. So actually, we are not taking those questions because the session is about learning of fixed income and not whether to invest in specific mutual fund or.
In any case, SEBI doesn't allow me to speak about any particular security.
Okay. And why such? There is one question actually. Why such? There is a low liquidity in the CM segment for a corporate bond.
Nobody is aware of the product. Nobody is trading on it. Everybody is going through mutual funds as of now. So liquidity creates more liquidity, right? So if 10 comes, then 100 will come. 100 comes, then 1,000 will come. Somebody has to start. A lot of initiatives have been taken, including the one which we're doing now. But I think NSE will be able to answer better on the actual operational market side. So
basically, the liquidity, as you have said correctly, that the lack of awareness about this. So I will talk more about how you can about the information, where you will get the information about this bonds, where and trading prices, etc. tomorrow. So we'll park this question for tomorrow. The next question is, what is the difference in YTM and XIRR?
Pretty much the same thing as far as a bond is concerned. I wouldn't use the word XIRR in a bond because bonds cash flow is more or less well structured. So IRR, but yeah, pretty much the same thing. YTM is the XIRR of the bond.
Another question is about the accrued interest. So you are going to teach the accrued interest calculation tomorrow because they are asking how to calculate accrued interest.
Yes.
So tomorrow, I think in Excel, so in tomorrow's Excel sheet, we will have the how to calculate accrued interest, how to calculate YTM using the cash flows and clean price, dirty price. So that will happen tomorrow. So next question is a interesting question, that if everyone is investing through MFs and MFs are buying and selling the bonds, then why there is no liquidity in the bond? Because, I mean, interesting question, but the fact is MFs are not coming through the capital market segment. They are going through NDS, negotiated dealing system of RBI. In NDS, the minimum ticket size of buying and selling is 5 crores. 5 crore rupees is the minimum transaction value in NDS, which is where mutual funds, insurance companies, retirement funds. And I told you that market is big. It's a huge market. It's bigger than equity also. So I think they are asking whether you are going to cover convexity and duration tomorrow. No. No. Okay, I mean, if time permits, I don't mind, but I don't. But it is too complicated for, I think, the basic session. So I think first we should learn about basics so that long-term investor can learn how to invest in the bond market. So these are the questions for today. Thank you, Harishji. It was pleasure. Indeed a very detailed session on bond, and we will see that tomorrow there will be more interesting because tomorrow there will be a calculations, and if somebody wants to understand bond, they should understand the calculation on Excel sheet. Then only they will learn the bond market, and we are very lucky that we are going to see that tomorrow online real time on Excel sheet how the calculation will be done. So my request is to everybody that don't miss tomorrow's sessions because it will be more exciting than today's sessions. So be there. Tomorrow's session is at 11 a.m. in the morning, because today, since there was a market up to 3:30, we have kept the session at 4. But tomorrow being a Saturday, we have kept the session at 11 o'clock. But my request to everybody is, don't miss the sessions. Again, thanks Harishji for
Pleasure.
taking our request and doing these sessions continuous 2 days, because we also know that in one day this session is not going to end up. So thanks very much, and thank you everybody. So we will meet tomorrow at 11 o'clock again. Thank you.
Thank you, Sunil. Thank you so much. Thank you, Rajesh, for your help.